Ram killed the Hemi for this engine. The most iconic V8 in the truck world, gone. Replaced by a turbocharged 6-cylinder that most Ram owners never asked for. And then something incredible happened. Within 12 months, Ram brought the Hemi back. Over 10,000 people placed orders within the first 24 hours. Sales jumped 27% the very next quarter. The CEO literally slapped a symbol of protest badge on every Hemi truck rolling off the line. Why? What went so wrong with the Hurricane that Ram had to reverse course faster than any manufacturer in modern history? I'm about to show you 7 fundamental engineering flaws buried inside the 3.0L Hurricane that Ram does not want you to know about. These aren't forum complaints from people who don't know how to change their oil. These are documented design decisions backed by technical service bulletins, NHTSA data, and teardown evidence. And there's a class action lawsuit building right now because of them. Government emissions regulations forced Stellantis to kill the Hemi. A big, naturally aspirated V8 burning premium fuel at 15 miles per gallon couldn't survive the new EPA targets. So they designed the Hurricane, a 3.0-liter twin-turbo inline-6 that makes more power and more torque than the Hemi while burning less fuel on paper. 420 horsepower in standard output, 540 in high output. On paper, it's the perfect replacement. But here's the problem. The Hemi was a truck engine, simple, robust, overbuilt, designed to be beaten on by construction workers and fleet operators and people who don't read owner's manuals. The Hurricane is a technology engine, complex, precise, designed to hit emissions targets and win efficiency awards. Those are 2 fundamentally different philosophies, and when you put a technology engine into a truck environment, the cracks show fast. How fast? Law firm Sauter Shelkoff is already investigating a class action lawsuit targeting the 2025 Ram 1500 with the Hurricane engine. The claims? Check engine lights, sudden shutdowns, battery drainage, and dealerships that can't diagnose or fix the problems. NHTSA has logged dozens of complaints about engine shutdowns and loss of power, and Ram's response? They brought the Hemi back and priced it as a $1,200 upgrade. That tells you everything you need to know. Now let me show you exactly what's failing and why. Flaw number 1, direct injection carbon buildup. This is the one that's going to cost every single Hurricane owner money. Not if, when. The Hurricane uses high-pressure direct injection at 5,075 psi. That means fuel is sprayed directly into the combustion chamber at extreme pressure. It does not spray over the intake valves, ever. There is zero fuel contact with the back of the intake valves. Now, why does that matter? Because every engine produces oil vapor through the PCV system, the positive crankcase ventilation. That oil vapor travels through the intake and passes over the intake valves on its way into the combustion chamber. In a port-injected engine like the Pentastar Vive 6 or the old Hemi, gasoline constantly washes over those valves, cleaning off the oil residue before it can harden. It's a self-cleaning system that's been working perfectly for decades. The Hurricane doesn't have that. The oil vapor hits the back of the intake valves and nothing washes it off. It bakes on, layer after layer. Over thousands of miles, carbon deposits build up on the valve stems and intake ports like charcoal crust inside a grill. By 30,000 to 60,000 miles, especially on trucks doing short city trips, those deposits restrict airflow into the cylinders. You start getting rough idle, misfires, reduced power, longer crank times on cold starts, and decreased fuel economy. The ECU doesn't even know what's wrong half the time because the sensors are reading within spec while the airflow is physically choked. And here's what makes me furious. Ford figured this out years ago. The EcoBoost had the same problem, so Ford added port injectors alongside the direct injectors. Toyota did the same thing with the 3.5 and the Tacoma. Both engines now use dual injection, direct and port, so the valves stay clean. Stellantis looked at this known solved problem and said, nah, we'll skip that. The fix? Walnut shell blasting. You pull the intake manifold, seal off the cylinders, and blast crushed walnut shells at high pressure against the valve stems to break off the carbon. It costs $500 to $1,500 every time, and you'll need it every 60,000 to 80,000 miles for the life of the engine. That's a maintenance cost the Hemi never had, and Ram doesn't mention it anywhere in the owner's manual. Flaw number 2, phantom misfires and the Atlantis electrical nightmare. You buy a brand new $70,000 Ram 1500. You drive it off the lot. Before you hit 1,000 miles, the check engine light comes on. You take it to the dealer. They run the codes. P0300, multiple cylinder misfire. Maybe P0301 through P0306. Individual cylinder misfires. They clear the codes, hand you the keys, and say, "Couldn't replicate it." A week later, the light comes back. This is happening to hurricane owners all over the country. And I need you to understand something. These are not mechanical misfires. The spark plugs are fine. The coils are fine. The fuel system is fine. These are software misfires caused by the Ignition System Control Module, the ISCM, inside a brand new electrical architecture called Atlantis. Atlantis is Stellantis' new integrated electrical platform. It manages the engine, transmission, and chassis all through one unified system. Sounds great in a press release. In reality, it's throwing phantom codes that send owners and dealers on wild goose chases. NHTSA has 2 documented technical service bulletins specifically for this. TSB August 31st, 25 covers standard output models built before January 15th, 2025. It reprograms both the ISCM and the powertrain control module. TSB 08055525 covers high output models built before January 7th, 2025. Same deal, ISCM reprogramming. But here's what makes it worse. If you're running 87 octane regular gas in this engine, the PCM retards ignition timing so aggressively to prevent knock that it triggers additional bogus misfire readings. You get a C owner's manual for oil and fuel message on the dash, the truck drops into reduced power mode, and suddenly your $70,000 pickup drives like a golf cart. The electrical system is so sensitive that if your battery voltage drops even slightly, from a weak ground connection, from high current draw from the cooling fans, from anything, the dash lights up like a Christmas tree. Warnings stack: 4WD disabled, steering assist off, service engine, C oil and fuel. The powertrain is mechanically fine. It's the voltage that's confusing the electronics. The Hemi didn't care about any of that. You could run it with a corroded battery terminal and a missing ground wire, and it would start every morning without complaining. Flaw number 3, thermostat failure and overheating. This one is embarrassing for a company that spent hundreds of millions developing this engine. The thermostat housing on the Hurricane is made of plastic, on a twin-turbo engine that manages multiple cooling circuits operating at extreme temperatures. Plastic. And guess what happens? The housing cracks. The thermostat gets stuck, either open or closed. If it sticks closed, the engine overheats. You get an engine overheated warning on the dash and the truck goes into limp mode. If it sticks open, the engine never reaches proper operating temperature, fuel economy tanks, the heater barely works, and the ECU can't run the engine in its optimal efficiency window. This is so widespread that Stellantis issued TSB 0900625, which covers Wagoneer and Ram 1500 models built before October 2024. The fix? Replace the thermostat. Labor time, 2.5 hours. And by the way, the replacement part is the same plastic design, so you'll probably be doing this again. A twin-turbo engine with integrated water-cooled exhaust manifolds, a dedicated charge cooler circuit, and a post-shutdown electric coolant pump. And they put a plastic thermostat housing on it. The Hemi used a metal thermostat housing. It lasted the life of the engine. I've never replaced one, not once in 20 years. This is what happens when cost-cutting meets complexity. You save $4 on a plastic housing and create a failure point that can overheat a $70,000 engine. Flaw number 4, factory oil leaks. Brand new Hurricane engines are leaving the Saltillo assembly plant in Mexico with oil leaks. Not at 50,000 miles, not at 20,000, off the lot. Some trucks show seepage before their first oil change. The leaks come from the timing cover, the oil pan, and the turbo drain lines. And these aren't slow weeps. They pool fast and can trigger oil pressure shutdowns if they go unnoticed. Now here's where it gets really ugly. Fixing an oil leak on a Hurricane isn't like fixing one on a Hemi where you drop the pan and slap a new gasket on in an afternoon. On the Hurricane, depending on where the leak is, you might be pulling the front differential, the steering rack, the axle shafts, and the accessory drive system just to access the leak. Miss one gasket surface during reassembly and you're doing it all over again, but the oil leaks aren't even the worst part of the quality control story. Dealers have unwrapped brand new Hurricanes with loose coolant hoses, untensioned clamps, and wiring harness pins that were half-seated from the factory, tripping misfire codes with less than 10 miles on the odometer. 10 miles. On a $75,000 truck. These aren't engineering flaws. These are assembly line quality control failures. The core engine design might be solid, but if the people building it aren't tightening the bolts properly, it doesn't matter how good the blueprint is. I've been a mechanic for over 20 years. I expect to see oil leaks on engines with 100,000 miles. When I see them on engines with 100 miles, Something is fundamentally broken in the production process, and that should concern every Hurricane owner. Flaw number 5, PTWA cylinder coating. This is the one that keeps me up at night, because if this fails, there is no repair. Your engine is scrap. Traditional engines use cast iron cylinder sleeves pressed into the aluminum block. They're heavy, but they're proven. They last 300,000 miles without issue. The Hurricane doesn't use sleeves. Instead, Stellantis sprays the cylinder walls with a plasma transfer wire arc coating, PTWA. It's an ultra-thin layer of steel alloy, approximately 150 microns thick. That's 0.003 inches, 0.03 of an inch between your pistons and the bare aluminum block. The technology itself isn't new. Nissan uses it in the GT-R. Ford used it in the Shelby GT350. But here's the critical difference. Those are high-performance sports cars driven on weekends by enthusiasts who baby them. The Hurricane is going into Ram 1500 work trucks. Trucks that tow trailers in 110-degree Texas heat. Trucks that idle for hours at construction sites. Trucks driven by people who think an oil change at 15,000 miles is fine, and the early evidence is concerning. Borescope inspections on some Hurricane engines have revealed uneven wear patterns on the cylinder walls, with bare aluminum showing through where the PTWA coating should be. Piston skirts show hot spotting and vertical scoring, evidence that the coating wasn't honed correctly or the rings never seated properly during break-in. Some trucks are burning a quart of oil every 700 miles by 60,000 miles. Once that consumption starts, there's no fix. You can't re-sleeve a PTWA-coated block. You can't recoat it at a machine shop. The engine is done. You need a complete replacement. On a Hemi, if a cylinder wall gets scored, any competent machine shop can bore it oversized and install new pistons for $1,500. On a Hurricane, you're looking at a factory replacement engine for $12,000 to $18,000. That's the gamble Ram is asking you to take with 0.03 of an inch of sprayed-on metal. Flaw number 6, no oil dipstick. I still can't believe I have to say this in 2026, but Ram removed the oil dipstick from the Hurricane engine. There is physically no way to check your oil level manually. Instead, they installed an ultrasonic sensor that estimates the oil level electronically and displays it on the dash. Ram says it's more accurate and more convenient. I say it's a liability. Here's why. An ultrasonic sensor measures oil level. That's it. It cannot detect fuel dilution, which is a known byproduct of direct injection engines, especially turbocharged ones. When unburned fuel washes past the piston rings and mixes with your crankcase oil, the oil gets thinner. It loses viscosity. It stops protecting bearings and journals properly. On a traditional dipstick, you'd smell the gas on the oil. You'd see the oil was too thin, too clear, or milky if coolant was mixing in. With the sensor, you see nothing. The level reads full, while the oil quality is degrading silently. By the time the damage shows up, as a spun connecting rod bearing, as a seized journal, as metal in the oil filter, it's catastrophic. There's already a documented teardown of a Hurricane that threw a rod knock traced to a spun hash, one connecting rod bearing. The engine uses offset connecting rods that create unique loads on bearing surfaces. Any drop in oil quality, from fuel dilution, from extended drain intervals, from a momentary pressure drop at high boost, and those bearings are toast. The Hemi has a dipstick, always had a dipstick. You pull it, you wipe it, you check it, 30 seconds. No sensor, no software, no ambiguity. Sometimes the old way is the right way. Flaw number 7, the $15,000 turbo time bomb. The Hurricane has 2 turbochargers. Each one feeds 3 cylinders. They're water-cooled, they spin at over 100,000 revolutions per minute, and they operate in one of the harshest thermal environments in the entire engine. Right now, these turbos are protected by Ram's new 10-year 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. That's great. But what happens at 101,000 miles? What happens when the second or third owner is driving this truck with 130,000 miles and a turbo starts to fail? A single turbo replacement on the Hurricane costs between $8,000 and $15,000, including parts and labor. If both turbos fail, you're potentially looking at $20,000 or more on a truck that might be worth $25,000 at that point. That's the math that should terrify every Hurricane owner. And here's how the turbos die. These are oil-cooled and water-cooled units. After you've been towing heavy or driving hard, the turbos are glowing hot. If you shut the engine off immediately without letting it idle for 60 seconds, the residual heat coats the oil inside the turbo bearings. The oil turns to carbon sludge. It blocks the oil feed passages. The bearings lose lubrication and the turbo self-destructs. Now, the Hurricane has a built-in electric coolant pump that continues circulating coolant after shutdown to prevent this. But if that electric pump fails, and it's an electric pump on a Stellantis product, so the odds aren't zero, your turbos are cooking themselves every time you turn off the engine. On top of that, the high cylinder pressures from forced induction mean spark plugs wear out faster. The coils work harder. The high-pressure fuel pump, especially the dual pump setup on the HO, is chain-driven and operates under enormous stress. Those are all additional maintenance costs and failure points that the Hemi simply doesn't have. Let me put it this way. The total cost of ownership for a Hurricane over 150,000 miles, including carbon cleaning, shorter spark plug intervals, potential turbo service, premium fuel on the HO, and the inevitable electrical gremlins, is thousands of dollars more than a Hemi. And that's if nothing major breaks. Look, if you already own a Hurricane, I'm not telling you to panic. I'm telling you to be proactive. This engine will reward meticulous maintenance and punish neglect far more severely than any Hemi ever did. Here's what I'd do. Change your oil every 5,000 miles, not 10,000. Not whatever the oil life monitor says. 5,000. Full synthetic API SP or GF6A certified. Turbos cook oil, they shear the molecules. The oil degrades faster than in a naturally aspirated engine. Ignore the factory interval. It's designed to look good on cost of ownership spreadsheets, not to protect your engine long term. Use 91 octane or higher on the high output. Always. No exceptions. Running 87 in the HO triggers knock sensor intervention, timing pull, and limp mode. It's not saving you money, it's destroying your engine. After towing or sustained high-load driving, idle for 60 seconds before shutting off. Let the turbo oil and coolant temperatures stabilize. This single habit can extend your turbo life by tens of thousands of miles. Send an oil sample to Blackstone Labs every other oil change. They'll tell you if there's fuel dilution, coolant contamination, or abnormal metal wear happening before it becomes catastrophic. It costs $30 per sample. That's the cheapest insurance you'll ever buy. Ask your dealer about all active TSBs at every service visit, specifically TSB August 31st 25, TSB 0805525, and TSB 0900625. If your ISCM hasn't been reflashed, get it done immediately. It fixes the phantom misfire issue and could prevent a catalytic converter failure down the line, and plan for a walnut blast at 50,000 miles. Don't wait until you feel the symptoms. By the time you feel rough idle and power loss, the carbon is already severe. Preventive cleaning is cheaper than reactive cleaning, so there they are. 7 fatal flaws that Ram is hiding from you. Direct injection carbon buildup with no dual injection solution. Phantom misfires from a half-baked electrical system. Plastic thermostats that crack. Factory oil leaks on brand new trucks. A cylinder coating so thin that if it fails, your engine is scrap. No dipstick to catch oil contamination before it destroys your bearings. And turbo replacement costs that can exceed the value of the truck. The Hurricane isn't a bad engine. It's an impressive piece of engineering that was shoved into the wrong job. Ram knows it. That's why the Hemi is back. That's why 10,000 people ordered one in 24 hours. That's why sales are up 27%. If you own a Hurricane, take care of it and it'll take care of you. But don't let anyone tell you it's as simple or as cheap to own as a Hemi. It's not. And now you know exactly why. Hit subscribe. Drop a comment telling me which engine is in your Ram right now. And if this video saved you from an expensive mistake, share it with someone who's about to make one. See you in the next one.